Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming in and checking out the podcast. If this is your first time checking out the Leon LeGray podcast, I want to go ahead and let you guys know and say thank you guys for showing up and taking the time to listen to today's podcast, and hope you are doing well this fine Thursday. And before I begin, I wanted to announce something real quick. Very recently, on a recent news from Amazon. Amazon has just released Amazon podcasts, both for Amazon Music and Audible. If you are an Audible listener, this is going to be a great step for you if you are used to listening to long form podcasting. As for myself, I do every single day listening to long form audio podcasts, and I enjoy listening to it all the time. As of yesterday, Wednesday the 16th, they've made their release on audio podcasts, and I want to go ahead and let you know that if you have Amazon Music, or if you have an Alexa or an Echo, this would be a great benefit for anyone to check out my podcast, the Leon LeGray. Just go ahead and go to your Echo and subscribe to me on right from your Echo, which will be great if you do. Helps out the channel. Now, I will be in today's show, I'll be going over on a bit on Amazon Music's new podcasting service that they've launched to yesterday. Very new, and something that a lot of users are going to find out what is this all about, how to use it, and things like that too. So stay right here on today's episode. We'll get right onto it too, get on fully on the details, and then also we're going to go and talk a little bit about Nintendo's announcements going further on today's show. All right, welcome to episode 132 of the Leon LeGray podcast. Your host, as always, Leon. So before we begin, I want to just go ahead and announce two of our sponsors, which that will be ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN, if you've not heard of ExpressVPN, something you guys should check out. And if you are interested in protecting yourself online, where you're going outside your home or whether you're inside your home throughout the days of COVID, something to consider while surfing on the website. Make sure that your details and information are private. Something I would never go out with too, and especially it is one of the best services to try out if you're in need in privacy. Best ways to look into ExpressVPN too. If you click the link down below, something to consider checking out if you need to. And then last but not least is Brave. Brave is a browser I've been using for some time, and for about 2 years, making it close to 3 years, I've loved Brave browser, and it does a really good job. And if you look into the link down below, you just click on the link and that will support me right there too. And I think one of the best things about Brave, it has already built-in Tor. So if you're looking to browse privately and without anyone stalking through your VPN or going to your cookies, or all that jazz, check out Brave as well. It is a good service. So let's begin right on Amazon. So Amazon, what do I think about the brand new podcasting service? Which for me, for one, I think it's actually not bad of a service, and I think it's actually has some potential. And I've gone in today and I found out that my show is up on Amazon Music. So really easy to find all your favorite podcasts, especially there's so many podcasters already over there, especially for one of my favorites are the Tim Ferriss Show. The most popular ones I've seen is Serial, Mr. Death, like the crime dramas, WTF, which I don't know too much about. Oh, and then the most popular one, This American Life. And I have to say, you've got a lot of the popular ones here up on Amazon. already. So it's really cool to see that up there already too. And if I were to go to, let's say, the oh yeah, like Joe Rogan Experience, right? And I'm sure they already have that already on the list. Oh, yep, there it is, the Joe Rogan Experience. Now they have it already with a the Joe Rogan Experience. Okay, that I don't know. Now that one here, that's actually brand new. Now he doesn't even have that in his even on Amazon Music. I'm quite surprised. Oh, that's right. He's actually exclusive only on Spotify. Pretty disappointing though, where when it comes to exclusive, which I will never do exclusive. So now, the Peter Schiff Show, one of my favorites. Which I have to say going into it too, which that's awesome. They're one of my favorite economists that I listen to here and there. Not always. I don't always listen to him religiously, but at least it's good that he's there. He's pretty much putting himself all over the place, not to limit to one thing, which is still pretty cool to say that for sure. That at least you're not just limiting yourself to one directory. It's good to have it in many directories. I, for one, I do think it is smart that that for anyone to be in a position on Amazon Music, it's actually still a very good idea to get on the gravy train while you can, and get on there while it's pretty much open to register and to submit. Now, for me, I've already submitted since last month, so to me, of having to think about going through Amazon Music late in the game, because for one, I did check out Amazon Music and Amazon Music, the podcasting services, and I think it is really good to put yourself out there and give it a try, because for one, you don't know who's going to be listening to your podcasts, and I think there's just about time that a lot of people are going to go and stay in the Amazon ecosystem. I mean, you don't see a lot of people jumping into just iTunes, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, or just Google Podcasts anymore. I mean, at least the company, I will say, is that it's smart enough for any company to open up and branch out to different services like Amazon's podcast. Now, I don't know why they just call it Amazon Music. For me, they could have just had a category called Amazon Podcasts. But I think where I could see is that Amazon didn't want to have to go through building another page for just that. So I think having it on Amazon Music is just as good, and then having it on Audible for any audiobook listener to listen into podcasts. And that, to me, I do find that to be a good step in the right direction for podcasters, because if you're just a short form guy, just listening to short form audio, then that's for you. Something that anybody to jump in and consider for sure. And as for me, I listen to a long form podcasting, so probably Audible would be good. Now, for Echo support, I do think that they already have that embedded already, so that's nothing for me I would ever worry about. Like, I, for one, I actually support competition in the podcasting space, and this is it right there too. And I think it's good. Now, I think a lot of people are accepting that they are looking to other options as far as podcasting, because for one, we've many years ago, we're talking about the early days of podcasting, where Apple and Stitcher and other ones out there, that you notice that they were just the dominant one, and these were the only two directories that you can post your podcast onto. And I think it's really cool that Amazon does see the potential of doing that too. Now, however, it's cool that they've their guidelines are much more lenient now, where at least you can say something a little bit critical about Amazon in a way, and at least they don't deplatform you, what their previous guideline was. So pretty much with all the criticism Amazon received, at least it was much more lenient, where for one, it is acceptable that you can say something about just about anything really in general. Now, to me, I've said in the past episodes that I wouldn't care if I was in the platform or not, but in a way, I'm kind of thinking now that, hey, it's smart enough to be on Amazon Music and give listeners more options to listen to me instead of just one directory. For one, I know myself that you don't have people going to Amazon Podcasts. For one, you may have other listeners listen to other things other than just Apple, Stitcher, Google, Spotify, you name it, really. And there's other ones out there too, but they don't even have the stronger directories such as the big four that I just named right there. So now we have Amazon being the top right there too. So we don't know the numbers as of yet. So what I can tell is that we're going to end up seeing more people getting on and switching over to Amazon Music for podcast listening, not just for music anymore, of course. So you're gonna have a lot more things a lot more options, a lot more things that you want to listen to too as well. It is pretty interesting where this is going for with Amazon. Now, one thing I will mention is, for one, the UI on the website looks very simple. Something that I would actually listen to podcasting on Amazon Music, which I could see myself. Now, not to take away what they have, one thing I would have seen on Amazon Music if there was that option is I would probably want us to see where you can actually rate your favorite podcasters onto Amazon Music. That's still a bit unfortunate that they didn't have that option, like you would have done with Amazon and with Amazon iTunes at one point. That at the time, Apple pretty much completely scrapped iTunes from their Mac OS X operating system, which that they don't have anymore too. Now, if you're a Windows users, you can still use iTunes and rate people right from the iTunes program, if anyone is still using iTunes nowadays. But besides that, I think I love to see Amazon expand a little bit more to the podcasting, to more podcasting features that they can add, and something I definitely want to see that happen for me as a user. Now, in the only way that you can actually submit your podcast, and first of all, you can't really do it on a free service like Anchor or Podomatic, right? And you have to do it through a paid service such as Podbean, Blueberry, Libsyn, and so on and so forth too. There's so many paid providers that you can go through it as well. Now, that's one of the things that you can do it right out of, but overall, there's no options for such as Anchor where you can do it too. Nothing at all. So you have to go through a paid service, which fortunately for me, I've actually have Podbean, so I was able to have that submitted right through Podbean. So it was cool. It was like a breeze. It was nothing difficult to do, really. Now, I liked it so far. I think the UI actually reminds me similarly to Deezer. Now, if you not know about Deezer, it is a French music service / podcast service as well that they offer too. They've been around actually for a very long time. Deezer, something I would pretty much look into if you want to check out Deezer. They are pretty good. Now, however, I don't ever see any migration options where if you already have your if you already have stuff already subscribed to other podcasts to other podcasters from other options like or other directories such as iTunes, I don't think you really can switch over your subscriptions over to Amazon. So pretty much you have to start all over from scratch, and pretty much that's all anybody can do. A little bit unfortunate, but that's how it is. And let me just break down some of the shows that I see trending right now too. Like for one of the first things I see here is Crime Junkies. That's up on trending. Counter Bunga Bunga, which I don't know too much about what this is about. Then NPR, which is very, very popular. It's extremely popular, which for a lot of listeners. And let's see who's up this week. Hysteria, and so many more too that pretty much jumped on, and including Tim Ferriss that I've just mentioned just now. But overall, I think the more people that we're gonna end up seeing over here, it's gonna be pretty big. So it's not just but you're gonna see a lot of big podcasters coming into the Amazon space. So I like it too. I think there are tons of options to look into to Amazon Music. Now, if you have the paid service, I think you are set. However, if you don't have the paid service, such as the ones that I've just described, such as Libsyn, Podbeam, Blueberry, and so forth, then it would be a good idea to look into the paid services and switch over to tier 2. And I have to say though, I will have a 301 redirectory linked down on the bottom of the description, and also I will have the pretty much underneath the description my podcast link for you guys to check out. And for the news we've had for today, oh my goodness. So I was over at a friend's channel and I checked up on Nintendo Direct Mini. So for those of you that missed out what was going on for today, so Nintendo Direct Mini, it just announced several other titles, but it's very much a mini direct news. It doesn't offer huge amount of news. It's very mini. It's just very minimal coverage, I should say, in pretty much on their direct news platform. So if you not know what Nintendo has to offer today, I'll be reading one of the big things that came up. In fact, they've just posted this not too long ago over on GameSpot and almost every other game outlet right there. And I have to say, Monster Hunter was the big thing for Nintendo Mini Direct, and Monster Hunter series, which that's actually two that's going to be ported up on the Switch that's going to be coming up next year. So for me, it looks amazing. I think it just sells me right there about getting the Nintendo Switch. I think it's a good console. Nintendo has made so many great releases so far, and also the fact that the Nintendo, they're bringing in a lot of great titles. To me, not to put Sony under the bus, which I think Sony has done a great job as well, bringing in third-party titles as well. And now, to me, I've not seen so much on the Microsoft camp what they're doing. We don't even know what's going on, except the only thing we've seen so far are the Xbox consoles. To me, that doesn't attract me so much on going out there and purchasing a new console. And to me, I pretty much experienced what I've experienced both on Xbox and 360. I think the console has pretty much reigned on Sony's victory at this point. And we're gonna see more of that going forward. It is a really good it's a really good step both of these companies, Sony and Nintendo, are doing. But however, on today, I want to go ahead and just mention the two of the Monster Hunter titles, which one is Monster Hunter Rise, which looks really really good, and then the animated version called Monster Hunter Stories 2, which I've never heard of. I've never looked into before. So that's still amazing. Then the Signa 6 Defiance of Destiny. I've seen it before. I've just never played any of the previous series. And I think it goes all the way back on the PS2 or PS1 days, if I'm not mistaken. Hades, not heard much about Hades. I must have overlooked that then. Ori and the Will of the Wisp. Okay, let me just bring this up to you. Ori and the Will of the Wisp. I've seen gameplay footage on it. It looks gorgeous. This is coming from Moon Studios, very independent, small independent company all the way from Austria. Look, and it looks fabulous. In fact, one of the first titles that was actually released was on the Xbox One and the PC. So you do have two of the options to play it right now. Now, if you are a Switch user, you'll be excited to know that is going to be coming on the Switch, and very exciting news too, because at least Nintendo has opened up the doors to indie developers, and this is it. I mean, to me, it almost looks like a AAA title. If you go in and look up Ori and the Will of the Wisp trailer, you'll see it doesn't even look like an indie title. I mean, a lot of indie titles or indie development are made into sprite, old school sprite development. But this here, it looks professionally made. I'm really impressed with what this has to offer. No doubt. It's super cool, and I think this is it right there too. I think it is Nintendo Switch has pretty much sold me, but I think at this point I'm a PC user. Not to say that I will ever go back to the consoles, but then again, I have to be mindful that you're spending on the console. I have to spend on the games as well if I want to play any of the Nintendo exclusives or the Sony exclusives. So that's going to be a huge thing. I like both of these companies. In fact, I always go back and forth whenever I see these companies do what they're doing, and the time that they worked on these games. I think it is super it amazes me a lot that I go and watch these trailers and I'm just stunned and blown away from how much the graphics has improved, even from over a decade ago. I'm super impressed, to be quite honest. Really, really honest with you. And let's see here. So Sniper Elite was announced. I think it was called Sniper Elite 5. So I'm not too interested though, but I don't see how many players are going to get on Sniper Elite. And then also they've had other titles like it was pretty much a 1920s era kind of style game. But to me, that didn't impress me too much. But I think what did hit it so well was Monster Hunter Stories 2 and then Monster Hunter Rise, which that was amazing still. And also you guys can check out the trailer over on Nintendo's YouTube page if you guys like to check out more of the releases they've pretty much made. But overall, this wasn't a huge, I mean, it was a big announcement, but I wouldn't say it was a huge announcement from their past Nintendo Directs. I like it, but that wasn't something that made me go, right? Nothing like that. It made me stunned. But I think there are so many titles that I am looking forward to what's coming up next. So that's the exciting part right there too. So overall, I'd like to hear what you guys have to say about Nintendo Direct Mini. What do you think about that? And Sony, in the other hand, I do think just to give Sony a bit of a talk and to go a little bit further, which I don't want to try to spend too much time on it too. I think what made me go was the big announcement for Final Fantasy 16. Now, I do think with 16, I think what they're trying to do with 16 is trying to go back into the origins, especially and trying to go to the old school style of the gameplay of having to go through having to discover what the earlier Final Fantasies was for me. And Final Fantasy, it was about fighting creatures, dungeon crawling, and fighting pretty much boss battles pretty much at this point too. And with 15, I know there was people that were very disappointed with 15, and I think they were trying to bring in the elements of the old school titles on there and bringing it to the next generation. Now, the trailer looked really impressed, and I like how it just made me want to go and get a PS5. But at the same time, I am going to go ahead and wait out on PS5. And the good thing about the PlayStation 5 is that it has backwards compatibility for the 4. And for some reason, Sony was able to put backwards compatibility on the 4, but not on the previous styles. Look, and I get that some people are upset that, hey, if you're able to put backwards compatibility on the 4, why not number 3, 2, and 1? Where is that at? You know? But at the same rate, I get that all companies have to make money. That's the purpose of that. I just don't understand that why they were not able to put older titles for people that want to play the older disc, which to me, that would be a good idea. But at the same rate, I think at this point, it is about time to start going into the future and going digital. Because if I look at it this way, we're going to see more titles being on digital than we're going to see on disc. And as much as people love their collector's editions and their disc, and I know there's some people that love the disc because of the collector's edition and the resellability, I just don't see that anymore than what I see. Look, I've downloaded many games right from my computer, and the fact of the matter is, why do I have to go through spending more money on games? And games are ridiculously expensive. Let me just put it this way. Why am I going to have to go through $60+ on a brand new title if I don't have to? You know, I don't think everybody knows the value of money when it comes to spending on brand new titles. And for all I know, I think games are to a point that are going to be up to $70 if to just purchase a brand new disc. And I think it'd just be much cheaper to go to the route and spending on a digital title than on a disc. And I think some people may understand what I'm saying, but I don't think it's worth the extra cost anymore. And I even know people in real life that love their disc. They're having to collect that right off their shelves. To me, I want to free up space instead of clutter more space with disc. And I lived through the disc since the GameCube days, but the disc era, I think, is just already long gone. I mean, you already have machines now that can power so well at this point. I don't think the disc is so necessary to have anymore. But that's just my 2 cents. What do you think? Do you think that will you ever get the disc or whatsoever too? And also tell me about the news. What do you think about Amazon, the Nintendo Direct Mini announcements. What do you think about all that too? I'd love to get your guys' take. But with that said, thanks for taking a listen onto today's podcast. If you like what you listen to, be sure to rate, subscribe. And I don't ever say this all the time, but it always helps the podcast further up. So if you are on iTunes, rate me. If you like, whatever stars you want to rate me on, or on Podchasers. I am available on Podchasers and including the brand new Apple Music. So check me up on there. I am available and I post every other week. Thanks so much for coming in, taking the time to listen. You guys have a great day.